Good morning, everybody. So today is election day, and I want to specifically talk about Donald Trump, who I held out a glimmer of a hope that he was going to shake things up. After all, the Democrats have been trying to lawfare him with false accusations, which we now know for his entire first term. And then he brought in former Democrats like Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., Elon Musk, people that I really look up to and respect for being very authentic voices. And they aligned with him because he gave them a room, a space to present their ideas. I do think that they're committed to their ideas. But I think Trump is an opportunist. He's very charming. And he's kind of a con man, I'm going to say. I think that the assassination attempts were maybe they were done inside jobs, like what happened with Robert Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, I'm sorry. Maybe not, because he's kind of volatile and unpredictable. He doesn't, think carefully about what he says. Remember when he called Kim Jong-un little rocket man, and he just says things that can make him a little bit unpredictable. But this is what people were saying about Donald Trump. At least he never started any wars. At least he's going to end the wars. And in his defense, all of his supporters, they say, well, all those military provocations of his first term were because he didn't know what he was doing. I mean, bless his heart. He was just so new to this, Let's forgive him. He put people in power that he couldn't get rid of, and they took advantage of him because, he's such a victim. And so they kind of led him astray, and he's this good-hearted, kind, bumbly old charming man who just speaks in simple words, and he was just taken astray by John Bolton and Mike Pompeo, the real warmongers. But this time it's going to be different. This time he's going to pick people that want diplomacy and that want trade. He's going to strengthen the dollar, and he's going to bring back manufacturing, and he's going to put better people in place. He's got Tulsi Gabbard and Bobby Kennedy. I get their names mixed up. Elon Musk for free speech, and all this good young energy is coming in. He's talking to Joe Rogan and different podcasters that the young people listen to, and he's hip and he's fun and he's strong. But it's all a grift, you guys. It's all a grift. And now we know that Mike Pompeo is back. Mike Pompeo is out to try to bomb Iran, okay? These guys are, to me, very dangerous. We have lost our diplomacy. We've just gone to let's just fight them. And this is very scary to me because one of these nations pushed into a corner, who knows what they will do with their nuclear weapons. I think that diplomacy is really important. But Mike Pompeo is back. And so there's your answer about the wars. Okay, Mike Pompeo's pet project may not be Ukraine against Russia. It might just be, let's meddle more in the Middle East. That's a very dangerous situation, you guys. But let's not forget that Trump, even though he didn't actually start any wars, he obliterated peace deals that had been years in the making between many countries. The JCPOA agreement with Iran, which many countries, European countries, the US, worked on for years and finally ratified, and Trump just tore it up. And that's why, at the same time, he's saying, oh, we're worried about Iran having nuclear weapons. Well, why the fuck did you tear up the agreement, idiot? You tear up the agreement, and now you're worried about them having nuclear weapons. Well, you keep attacking them, and they're trying to build a defense. It would be much better to have that agreement put back into place. The same with Russia. We had a nuclear agreement, arms treaty agreement with Russia. Trump tore it up. Okay? So he didn't invade Russia, but he set the groundwork for it. All of his people were instrumental in all the stuff going on in Ukraine, putting NATO troops into Ukraine, I bet. That part I'm not sure about. But he was setting the groundwork for the next war. He was not a peace candidate. And then he really, really fomented more chaos in the Middle East by moving the capital of Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. And that is very, very disruptive for the Middle East because Jerusalem is supposed to be a religious capital for everyone in that region of West Asia. Moreover, his son Jared Kushner, son-in-law, has already said he wants to build luxury hotels in Gaza. So under Trump, you can expect to see a lot more wars. It's not going away. Now, I do believe that our military leaders have a lot more sanity than these politicians who just like blurt things out. They just say whatever. But do not be fooled for 1 minute that Trump cares about you or he cares about people or he's some kind of a savior. He's an egotistical, charming con man. Con man. Now, how is he going to bring manufacturing jobs back? Don't forget, Bill Clinton and both parties really, the corporations, well, Bill Clinton started the free trade agreement, but it's the corporations that pushed for it. American companies are the ones that left the USA to put their factories where the labor was cheaper. China, Vietnam, Mexico, Sri Lanka, India, that's where the American companies went. So Trump, how are you going to get American companies to want to come back here and do labor here? This sweatshirt and my purple one, which I'll show you, are made by an American company called American Giant. So the sweatshirts cost a lot more. I'll show you my other one. American Giant, made in the USA. Okay, made in the USA. When was the last time you bought an article of clothing made in the USA or made in Canada or made in England? Sometimes I do because they have higher quality stuff. This sweatshirt is so thick. This was $138 plus shipping and tax. Okay, this sweatshirt. But I wanted a nice sweatshirt. Now, the problem is most people are not going to want to pay $138 for a sweatshirt made in the good old USA, no matter how cute and cozy and warm that it is, okay? I can't get up any higher because I'm actually not fully dressed. Like the people on the Zoom calls, you don't want to see from the hips on down, but probably you do. But anyway, I digress. I'm just trying to have some fun with this video because it's a serious topic. The problem is people don't want to pay that much, okay? And that's why American jobs are not coming back. I remember when a vacuum cleaner had a metal plate on the bottom, and when I was a young wife in the 80s and 90s, we had appliance repair shops. So when the toaster oven would break or the iron would break or the vacuum cleaner, we would take it to a appliance repair guy to repair. Well, now stuff is made so cheap, people just throw it out. So to bring American jobs back, people have to be willing to pay double, at least what they're paying now. You can get a sweatshirt on Amazon or some imported company for probably a third of the price, or Walmart. So that's the problem. So why would these companies want to bring these jobs back from these cheaper places and build factories here? We already see people are fleeing California. Companies are fleeing California because of the regulations. So why would companies want to come back here with all of our regulations? And how would Americans be willing to spend 2 or 3 times as much for cars, consumer electronics, phones? They're not. So how are you going to bring jobs back We really do need to create new businesses here. But no one's talking about that because that would involve companies wanting to invest in this country, and they don't. These companies that took all the jobs offshore, they just want to make more money. They're siphoning money out of the productivity of their workers. So to make America great again, you would need to have a change in the whole capitalism mindset. And capitalism is not about making people great or making the country great. It's about making money. And that's where we have laws so that it doesn't go run amok. But these laws all benefit the people at the top who own the companies. So these jobs are not coming back. I'm sorry to break it to you. They're not coming back. So everything Trump is promising people, they want to have a better standard of living. Well, you know why inflation is so high. Let's look at this. The Federal Reserve lowered the interest rate, was it like a month ago? But the yield on my CDs keeps going up. The rates on mortgages are going up. Why? Because the yield on the CDs and the mortgage rates are based off the bond market, the treasury market, what investors demand in interest to lend money to the government. And because the US debt is like at, I think, $35 trillion, and now we lowered the interest rate and we keep printing money, they want a higher return on their money to lend to us. And that's why interest rates are going up, and I do not think this is going to stop. The Federal Reserve controls the rate for the overnight lending rate that banks make with other banks, but it does not affect your mortgage rate or your the interest rate you get at the bank. And I do not see how anyone is going to reverse this trend of rising interest rates, because we are, sorry to say, a colonial empire in decline. Then they badmouth Russia. Okay, I mean China. China has been a peaceful nation for 5,000 years. Where are they starting any wars? I don't know. Maybe at one time they had an empire years ago, decades ago, millennia ago. My understanding is that China for 5,000 years has been a nation at peace. And there's all this stuff about how they kill their people and stuff. I don't even know if that's true. I don't even know. I don't really believe anything on the news anymore. But I see that they're not starting any wars. But we, the US, have been around for a few hundred years, waging wars the entire time. Like, we make our money on war. We are a war nation. We breed chaos, we breed war, we breed destruction. But wait, Charizard, people say, everyone wants to live here. Well, yeah, because we've exploited all the other nations to make this a paradise for us, separated by the oceans from everybody else. And if the nations don't do what we like, we sanction them, we steal their money, like we did freezing their assets. We do color revolutions where we overthrow their government. We start wars. We do, I forgot all the stuff. Sanctions, tariffs, wars, like it's fight, fight, fight. So what we really need in this country, we need diplomacy, you guys. We used to have diplomacy in the 80s and 90s. Remember Madeleine Albright, Henry Kissinger? They were always on the news. They were diplomats. There were others. I can't remember them all. But that's gone away. We don't want to be diplomats anymore. We just want to fight, fight, fight. Let's go get them. And that's very dangerous because some of these other countries have now more powerful weapons than we do, and we're spread very thin. We are in huge debt. People buying our treasuries are demanding higher interest rates. Our stock market is triple overvalued. Our housing is so expensive that many people can't even afford it because our hedge funds are investing in residential real estate because they don't want to invest in anything else. That's a misappropriation of their capital, in my opinion. I don't think that should be allowed. They should be investing in this country. We need diplomacy. Okay, this is what I think. This is Charizard's solution. First of all, we need to get money out of politics so that people will run based on their heart and their courage and their conviction that their words mean something, because the words don't mean anything. The US makes agreements like the ones that Trump tore up. It took years and years to make agreements. And there was also the Abraham Accord, the Minsk Agreement. The US makes agreements and then just backslides and tears them up. Germany, the same. That's what they do. So our word means nothing. We are losing standing in the world due to our overexpanding military, and that's how Rome fell. This is what I think we need. I think we need to get money out of politics. I think we need to get the diplomats in. I think we need to reinvest in our country. Definitely we need more laws against this homelessness and all this stuff. We need to clean up our streets and take some pride in our inner cities, like have city cleanup days. We need to invest in businesses that will be viable to bring manufacturing back. In some way, manufacturing has to come back. There have to be incentives to bring manufacturing back, and that could be done by using the tax code, because these companies are going to go, capitalism is going to chase the money. So there have to be opportunities for big funds like BlackRock to make money in investing in American entrepreneurial businesses rather than in existing houses that are made for people. It's a total misallocation. I think those are some really good starting points, because the getting money out of politics will get these special interests to stop running our country, because they don't care what happens to our country. They just want to enrich themselves. So get money out of politics, get diplomats back in to improve our foreign policy and our relationships with the rest of the world so we can trade with them, and then revise the tax code to lower the taxes on these young people, on young families with child tax credits. I think college education and trade should be free so we can improve our education, and then give tax incentives for entrepreneurship, because we definitely have to create some kind of businesses that people can do other than driving an Uber when they run out of money. So those are my ideas. And maybe, we will eventually get these ideas. I think these are really good, because I think people really want to have a change. And all these people who love Trump, like their heart is in it. They love this country. They love the Constitution. They love this country. And they see in him an opportunity for revival of the American pioneer colonial spirit and, free speech and the right to bear arms and caring about each other. But he's not going to deliver that, because he's just a con man grifter, you guys. And the reason they tried to take him out is because he's unpredictable and he wasn't one of the good old boys. That's why they were trying to take him out. But remember, they took out Joe Biden too. So it's like, they're going to take out everyone that they don't like, these Democrats. I think the Democrats are scary. One more thing. Liz Cheney is like a huge warmonger. Dick Cheney is the one that got us into Afghanistan and Iraq. He was pushing for those wars. I will never forget. Back then, I was for the Democrats. But now, all these warmongers have moved to the Democratic Party. The Democrats used to be the party of the people. They used to represent the teachers' union, the unions, the factory workers, the everyday person. But they've gone away from that. They've gone for some woke ideology where they want to twerk in front of school children and just do weird social experiments. Like, they've just gone weird, and they're just as big of warmongers too. I remember when Obama said we should not be invading Iraq. I don't hear any Democrats talking like that now. The parties are indistinguishable, really. And that's why it doesn't matter that Joe Biden isn't running anything, because the system kind of runs on its own, like it's kind of like when the parents go out of town. The kids, once they're teenagers, they can make their own food. They don't need the parents there anymore, kind of runs on its own. It's kind of like when the boss, like if you work somewhere and your boss is out of town, things don't fall apart. They still keep running, and that's how the government is. It doesn't matter who's the spokesperson at the front, like Boeing. They replaced the Boeing CEO. It doesn't change anything about Boeing, just a different face. And that's Kamala and Donald. Except Kamala is such an airhead. As a woman, I am pissed off that they put her and like vote for a woman, like fuck you. What kind of a rational person is going to respect Kamala, who can't say anything? And I just think that people are fooled by Trump. It's hard to be fooled by Kamala. She's obviously an airhead who stands for nothing and doesn't know how to talk and really has very little experience other than jobs that have been handed to her. I don't know what she's ever accomplished. She's very easy to see through Kamala as an airhead, as a stand-in. With Donald Trump, it's harder to see because he's so charming. So charming. He just charms everyone. I think that's why Melania doesn't want to be seen with him in public. She's had it up to here with his bullshit. That's what I think. I think she's so disgusted by him, all his cheating and his lying and probably his little temper tantrums, because she's not standing by her man either. And he seems to be fine with that. That's kind of an interesting relationship, I think. Anyway, it will be interesting to see what happens. I really, really, as a mother and as a grandmother, I really want peace. And I love the Constitution we have. I love the Constitution. I love that we can have free speech and, you know, that people love this country so much. I just think that a lot of people are still believing what they're told and not really quite awake to the fact that these charlatans, it's like Tweedledee or Tweedledum, they're not very different. And that's why they don't want any third parties in. These two parties, you know, the Constitution wasn't founded on just these two parties. I think at one time the Republicans, or was it the Democrats, were a third party. That's all I have for now. I love following these political things. To me, they're like a reality show. It's like, who needs TV when we have Kamala and Donald, you know, and like these interesting geopolitical events going on. It's like season 1 of, you know, West Asia, season 2 of Russia and Ukraine. What's going on now? What's going on now? And I'm really getting interested in like war strategy and diplomacy and how this all works. Like, I find it very interesting, actually. But I don't know if I would be a good diplomat because I get annoyed at people way too easily. And diplomats have to be very calm and collected. But maybe I could be a good diplomat. Anyway, thanks for watching my video, you guys. Again, the comments are off because, as Donald Trump would say, there's some very nice people on YouTube. And then there's some people who are not so nice. That's why the comments are off, except for the member part of my channel, the members only part of my channel, where the comments are always on. Thank you so much for watching.